Hi everybody, Monica Bodierski here, artist and author of the Shadowland Tarot and the House of Shadows Lenormand, soon to be in its 5th edition. So thank you for your support and your patience. This month has been incredibly hectic for me because it is the WITCHfest North Arts and Culture Festival, which happens from October 1st to October 31st, and I have to be present pretty much every day in one form or another. So again, thank you for your patience with the deck. It will be out in November. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about a subject that came up because of WITCHfest North this year. It is an online festival. As you know, it can be quite a transition to go from something that is normally live in physical locations to something that is completely online, and try to keep it as a warm communal space. Well, facing the situation that we are, there's been a great deal of social unrest and unfortunately death due to the virus, and social injustice has created quite a challenging space for most of us. I think I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a subject that is generally considered taboo, and we brought it into the WITCHfest North space as a pagan version of a death cafe. And the reason for that is because of not only the current situation, but the pagan and Wiccan, let me continue with every kind of descriptor I can here, is a very underserved community. So it was a wonderful conversation. We spoke a great deal about the judgments, about how people grieve, mourning in general, and people really showed up and brought their points of view to the table, and it was a wonderful event. So as part of that, I thought, why not bring this subject up in conjunction with the death card? And in my Lenormand deck, and every Lenormand deck, the scythe, which can indicate a violent ending, the scythe card, and a sudden ending. And of course, because of the Grim Reaper, death. And the death card, depending on which deck you're using, can be anything from a wonderfully pregnant goddess figure to, well, this dead crow and everything in between. It can sometimes symbolize actual physical death, as well as symbolic change that is a part of you or your life that has died. Not for bad reasons necessarily, although it may not be comfortable, but so that new growth and new life may begin, which I guess we can say that for all of us. Whether we like to think of death that way or not, when we pass, we are making room for the new and the young generation. So, how do we read this when it comes up? I think I just mentioned that it is both actual death and symbolic. I find that readers who are just starting out often ask me how I deal with this card when it comes up. And I think as you progress in your readings, you understand that diplomacy and really sharing from the heart with empathy and kindness is the way most of us deliver readings anyway. And not to avoid actual death if the question is in that ballpark. Let's just toss out an example here. Somebody comes up to me and says, I'm going to go on a trip. Am I safe? And I might ask, even before I pull a card, physically, like, are you worried about your physical safety? Is it about theft? Are you worried about transportation? I might. If they say, oh, I don't know in general, and I pull the death card, I would look at surrounding cards, of course. If there is the upside down chariot card, sometimes for me that indicates a car accident, and it can mean transportation fails or stalling or a problem. So I might further that with questions of, Are you renting a car or driving by any chance? People know what they're looking at as well. If they say, I'd like to know if a close family member of mine is going to survive a particular illness and the death card comes up, you would be doing yourself a disservice to say, no, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean actual death. In that context, I think most of us try to be very straightforward with people and say, yes, there is that very real possibility, although you never know, because often it is the will of people to survive or not that dictates that, and it is an eventual outcome for us all. You would probably be looking to other cards for timing anyway for people, because that is also a question that usually comes up with that. The Scythe card, when it comes up, and you'll notice that I've drawn things that are pretty whimsical. And I just want to say that, although whimsical, that is to assist people with some difficult subjects of shadow work, and also to lighten a lot of moods that occur sometimes in very serious reading spaces, because that's how I am. It's an extension of my personality. And please don't mistake that for me not taking these subjects very seriously. Almost made a horrible pun and said dead serious. Oh my gosh. Oops, said it anyway. Outside voice reminder. So listen. These cards may be lighthearted, but that's so you can face some of these more difficult things, okay? My witchcraft practice is a very deep and sacred and very serious practice for me. So when you get the death card, think about it in all of its aspects and all of its forms. We are in October right now, and it is very much, in my own practice, a season of honoring ancestors, even more so than the rest of the year, even though that's always part of my practice. And the reason for that is in October, I find the veil particularly thin. As someone who's already incredibly intuitive and sensitive, wow, things really happen in October for me that other people witness and hear and see. So I guess that's a good thing. So I know I'm not alone in that. But ancestors also, if you're asking questions about whether they're with you, don't forget them when you look at this card. Sometimes they show up as this card for me, as a comfort. So with that, have yourselves a wonderful week. As always, please leave your comments, how you read the death card below. If you've had any interesting experiences with that particular card, has it frightened you? How do you feel about it? Are you pretty easygoing with it? Same with the Scythe card. How about that? Is that just the word end for you, as some Lenormand readers will just say it's a cutoff and an end? Or do you read it as the Grim Reaper? Please let us know. Most of the questions you have are probably questions other folks have, and your sharing assists a whole community of readers. So thank you very much. As I said, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.